Our success is really built around the foundation of partnerships, collaboration, working with the residents, the city of Milwaukee, and anybody else who's interested in making change in the Harambe and River West neighborhoods.
One of the things that certainly helped here is that the community-based partners were stable and had been here for a while and had their own separate credibility.
Solving crime, preventing crime are our primary function, but we have to take inventory of our partnerships that help us understand what the problem is and get to the root causes.
You actually walk the streets and say, hey, this is something that could be an issue. This is something that may need to be looked at. And they actually get a point of view that people that is living on the blocks actually see every day.
It's important for people who work in my office to gain exposure to the community that they serve.
That's what builds trust in the residents when they say, hey, we talked about this and now we see an action plan that is actually coming true.
So it's really about creating a safe environment and getting people to look at things slightly different and document something that's not right and share it with your police or your community liaison.
This is not a fast process. We're not done, and it's hard work.
We were made aware of a grant opportunity with the Medical College of Wisconsin to prevent youth violence. And we realized that we needed to expand the number of folks that were involved with the center in terms of other institutions.
We are constantly looking for those anchors in the community that we can collaborate with, and we view the Holton Youth Center as that long-term stakeholder that we can affect change in the Harambe and River West neighborhoods.
Holton Youth and Family Center really works with our youth in our community, and there's such a great disconnect right now between police and youth. So I think developing those relationships, letting the kids ask us all sorts of cool questions that they've always wanted to know, helps them better understand what we do, helps us better understand our youth.
It's like a whole different perception of like, oh, we just think they do this and that. But when you really talk to them, they go through a lot just as well as we do.
So I would certainly advocate that any patrol officer, any officer, get an opportunity to do community-based work, take it. It has been the most rewarding position I've had in my career.
Having the police department at the table with us as we plan programming is really important because they have a better understanding of what kinds of things we're trying to do as far as giving kids a different set of behaviors.
If you don't have a place like Holton Youth and Family Center, you're missing out on those points of intervention where you can give them something positive as opposed to the negative that's in their neighborhoods.
My favorite staff here is Miss Gabby because she looks out for me a lot.
I see a lot of criminal activity in this neighborhood. I've been coming here to the Holton Youth and Family Center for 4 years now. I come home from school, I come straight here. I don't stand outside on the block, I don't do none of that. I come straight here, listen to the staff, go in the gym, play basketball, do a lot of things. They taught me a lot of stuff about school. They tutor you. I had a 0.4, now I got a 3.7 since I've been coming here.
You know, most young people want their lives to be different and better. They don't always have a way or to express that or to actualize that. And for them, I think coming here really gives them the opportunity to do that.
I think the next step to this is how do you build on the success of the Holton Youth and Family Center? How do you make it stronger so that this is something that's viewed by the residents of the Harambe and River West neighborhoods as their center?
It's been a very strong collaborative. It's been almost self-sustaining and one that we're hopeful will be around for many years to come.
I live in the neighborhood. I grew up in the neighborhood and know this neighborhood very well because of my family and friends that still live here today. We are very fortunate to have a lot of talented people in this area to have really put the time and effort into this community to make change.
Some of these responses demand a police reaction. Some of them require assistance from other city services. Our job is to help orchestrate those responses, working with concerned residents. And certainly right where we stand, the notorious bar was ultimately closed up because the neighborhood residents were willing to take an active role.
I lived exactly across the street from that bar. There was nightly brawls outside, unruliness, traffic congestion. My home was shot up on at least 3 different occasions. My mother's home was shot up once, and a beauty shop underneath her was shot up. So that is really what kind of prompted me into this role of work, because prior to that, I just kind of kept my head down, went to work, took care of the kids.
So we took a very aggressive approach. We went out and we hired a PI. So we got some very good footage that we was able to show to the license committee. The partnership we have with the police has been outstanding. They've been with us all along the way, not only dealing with Club 2C, but dealing with other issues. They have come out here and did training for us through the Community Prosecution Unit.
You have a district attorney out in the districts. You have dedicated police officers that work with that district attorney, Department of Neighborhood Services, which are building inspectors. You have probation and parole agents that have been assigned to the district. And then obviously you have the most important component, which is the community-based organization and the residents.
The way I've seen the partnerships evolve is we're in better communication with one another, whether it's me calling Riverworks or them calling me to say, hey Lori, we got to work on this issue together.
We also started looking at the public space, the city-owned vacant lots. There's an old playground, a tot lot that was on First and Keith. We had an opportunity to partnership with Kaboom and Carmex Foundation to build a new playground, and we did that playground build in one day. The model is really about persistence and setting a roadmap and having some small victories, because the big victories will come at the end. It's just really doing the small victories where the residents see change. It's all about change and improvement within these communities.
Well, the role that Washington Park Partners and the United Methodist Children's Service has played in making the Washington Park neighborhood a safer place to live is that it became like an anchor institute, a place where community residents could voice their complaints and maybe try to fight to have something changed in the neighborhood.
One of the things that we've recognized in Washington Park around the Burn Initiative is that crisis is not the time to get to know your partner. In the case of Washington Park, UMCS, Washington Park Partners, LISC, Safe and Sound are all partners that help us understand what the problem is and get to the root causes.
Milwaukee Police Department has really embraced collaboration. They come to every monthly safety meeting with Washington Park Partners. At our annual gathering, residents have developed such strong relationships with Milwaukee Police Department officers that they're able to recognize each other by name and hug each other when they see each other.
And what happens is when you have a team around the table to tackle any problem, it is a very powerful thing.
You can't arrest your way out of most problems. So to really improve a neighborhood, we need to have communication with the business owners, with residents, and come up with a plan together.
It's looking at workforce initiatives, it's looking at better housing.
So if we're shutting down a house, we're no longer just boarding it up and leaving it there because it was a problem. We are removing bad people from the location, but we're also looking for the long-term change. Who can we get in to rehab the house? Can we work with the mayor's office, or can we work with Habitat for Humanity or other housing developers and make this into a owner-occupied home?
We're starting to see a lot of rebuilds, a lot of fresh new structures go up. We're starting to see some real bad properties get raised and taken down, and that also helps breathe the life into the community.
The Washington Park neighborhood has nearly 2 times the city average of convenience store licenses as well as liquor store licenses, and we were receiving a lot of complaints about nuisance activity happening near or around the convenience stores.
We give them an opportunity as a group to understand what a best practice is and what they should be striving to do. Everyone knows who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong. Sometimes that social pressure begins to regulate among that community when we're not watching.
Not everyone can be lucky enough to have a burn funding, but reach out to your local LISC. And if you don't have a local LISC, reach out to the national LISC and say, we need technical assistance. We'd like to learn from your knowledge and expertise in this area of community development.
So as these best practices develop, we're constantly thinking of how do we get better? How do we apply it to the next neighborhood? And it is a constant process of engagement with the community and with our partners.
You know, that's a good feeling to know that I can make a difference where I live at, because now I'm really helping transform my community.